Hello everyone again. Time to start. So I welcome you at our webinar. Thank you for joining. My name is Lukas, and I'm with Profinet, helping our clients in banking sector, finance, telco, retail, to help to build a big data and data science competence in many areas. Today I will be talking about banking and about how to improve targeting of marketing campaigns. So you will learn today who to target, when to target, where is the value in the data and how to use it and how to monetize it. And we start with a little introduction about why to be data driven and what is actually a data driven bank. So first I will start with a question, and I will actually ask you to give me your answer in a while. Just now think what is the value of data in the bank? Like if you compare the deposits of customers on their saving accounts and the way how bank can turn this money into more money, and the data about their customers and how to turn this data into more money. Of course, the key here is if you can get more income from the deposits or from some kind of like a cross-selling other products like loans, for example, right? Like investments and these products, bank can actually make more money on. And I'm actually really wondering how will be your decision about the answer now, because before we had the basic interest rates were super low, and now situation changed. So I'm asking always this question. So let's compare the result from the last time. Okay. Anyway, what is the data and technology changing the most nowadays? It's the relationship between the bank and the customer, right? Like this is what is really changing. Like now it's the famous like banking everywhere, never at the bank. We are not in bank, we are not really dealing with clients on personal matter that very often right now during the coronavirus crisis. And who we are actually dealing with is not the customer himself, but mostly the digital twin of the customers, right? The digital twin which is exposed by many digital channels, banking application, internet banking, and etc. So we need to deal with the client and maintain the relationship based on the data track he is leaving in a bank, the digital twin. And that's why banks are, of course, reacting by having big data platforms to collect and keep and maintain all these data, and data science department to use this data. But this is not actually the data-driven bank, and sadly, this is kind of situation we are now, that banks are collecting data and doing some analysis, but are banks nowadays really data-driven already? Maybe some of them are, but just a little anecdote. I've been showing our proposition, the data-driven lending and other stuff, to very experienced consultants who have been working as a board member for one of the largest bank here in Czech Republic, and say, yeah, those things you are doing, it's great stuff. But like all this talking about data-driven, like just skip that, because every bank is data-driven now. It's just like buzzword. And then we started like a discussion what he actually really means by data-driven, because what he saw there was just the buzzword. So maybe I will show you what I mean when I'm talking about data-driven bank, because as I said, bank has data, collecting it, and they want to use the data to basically see and construct three main things about customers. First is the profile. It can be the credit risk profile, the credit risk class, behavior profile, socio-demographical, what products to offer to this customer, what is the type, what is the segment, right? And of course, it leads to compute some kind of like a customer value to based on the data to assess the value of the customer. And we cannot forget the customer satisfaction, right? Because we can have a customer with a high value, but the value will not come into bank if there will be no satisfaction. If the customer is not satisfied, he will leave, he will attrit, he will churn, and the value is lost, right? So these are three basic things people or people in bank want to do with the data. And what is happening right now, like there are many like softwares, tools, dashboards, application in Power BI, and a lot of personas and customer experience 360 and customer views 360, where you can view the data and then do some decision based on what you see, and you do your campaigns and you do your customer treatment. But is it really like data driven if you are just like looking at the data and you see a lot of colorful graphs, which is nice. It's great because we were not able to do this before, right? Like we just have maybe some Excels, and when we want some report, we have to ask some data department. Now we have this self-service stuff. That's good. But is it really like data driven? What I see as a data driven bank is the bank which decides the next best action based on the data to affect those three areas, to affect behavior and the value of the customer and the satisfaction customer, the way that we see in the data how the client is behaving, and then just from the data, and not based on some like like an expertise, which can be part of the decision process, but it's not the only one. The data-driven process is the one which comes from the data and automatically do the decision for the next best action. What to offer, what to do, what channel to use, when to take the action to prevent the customers from churning, etc. So this is something probably where banks are just mostly heading, and not, they are not there at the moment from what I see. So what I'm gonna talk about, the data-driven lending today, is actually the state when the lending offers are driven by data. And we start here, we start at the position that we have the data about the customers coming from the digital twin, from all the digital channels, social demographical data, transactional data, everything we know about the customer. And we need to know the customer. I'm not talking about like a KYC, like from anti-money laundering perspective, compliance perspective, but to really know the customer, his needs, and have it as a partner. Yeah. So this is when where we are coming from, and how to use those data. Like you probably know, if you are a little bit familiar with machine learning or some modeling, the traditional framework, the traditional way how to do with the data is to collect some client metrics, turn it into statistical features, and then to apply some model like linear regression or some decision tree to compute any kind of score. It can be like a risk score, churn, propensity score, anything like that. So this is the traditional model. Everyone is using that. We are also using that. But how to improve it? How to beat it? How to make it better? How to beat the traditional model with something new? So what we actually found the very improving and adding the performance for the model is to use something more complicated than just like a client metrics, but to collect the information not only from client metrics, but from the whole transaction, from the whole situation, from the actions of clients and interactions of clients and interaction of client and other parties, to connect what we can tell about the customer, not only from his metrics, but from what he is really like doing. And the transactional data is a great source of this. It's kind of like an abstract concept, so I like to show it more specifically on something that you know very well, and this is data from ATMs. You can imagine ATM withdrawals data. It's probably the most boring data in the bank, right? So just let's imagine you collect data from all the ATMs, you see all the withdrawals, you can turn it into some time series, so you can see the like general average ATM signature, which you can see here on the right top corner, that we have some working days, peak, after work, in the afternoon, and then some weekend, which is like less activity. So this is somehow like how the average ATM machine time series will look like. And then we can actually do the same time series for every ATM. And then we can look at some similarities between those ATM machines based on how clients are using them. And we can transform the data into something which we call the UMap, which is this kind of like a heat map you see down on these three pictures. And the logic of this UMap tool is basically that every point here you see is one ATM, and ATMs with similar patterns, similar time series, similar signatures of withdrawals are plotted nearby. And then you can start play around. For example, you can color all the ATMs in the capital city, and you see that they are near each other on here on the very left picture. You can color ATMs in subway, which you will see there is some cluster here. Or for example, look, if ATMs are rather used by certain ATMs rather used by males or females, and you can plot this. So this is just like a playing around with the similar ATMs, and then you can do the clustering, and you can check. For example, I was talking about like a cluster males are using more. If you look at these ATMs, you find out that these are actually ATMs from the area where factories are. So we see some places where the where the automotive industry is. So same we can do with the business ATMs with a different time signature. And another interesting cluster might be ATMs near some clubs and pubs. We call those drinking ATMs, nightlife ATMs, and they have different signature. They have peaks Friday, Saturday night. Like the data you can get from this is interesting, but the most important, or the important, is not to think about ATMs by the clients. This is not about ATMs. This is about clients. And if you turn this, you can see, okay, so we have clients that are withdrawing money from the same ATMs. So their behavior might be somehow similar. So you are actually able to clustering people based on where they are withdrawing their money and when. And luckily, we don't have only ATM data, right? So now I will get back to the general concept of behavioral modeling. Like we want to do the network of people, we call it pseudo-social network, but basically it's just like connecting people with the same behavior based on the transactions they are doing. And we have ATM withdrawals, but we have mostly money transactions, online shopping, card payments, paying abroad, getting salary. So these are all data talking about the behavior of people, and we can get profile of each customer based on the similarities to other customers. And this is why we can do very, very good and smooth clustering based on something that is very close to the real social context of each individual client. That's why we are talking about microsegmentation or microsegments of one, because based on the similarities for each client, we can find the surroundings of clients with similar behavior. And if we have some patterns of these clients in the same microsegment, we can use it, for example, to predict what the client will do based on the historical data. If I will behave someone who is very similar to me, who has similar salary, similar job, going to similar places, going to abroad, for example, very often, and things like that. And I will know about someone else who has the same profile pretty much, and he is keen to take, I don't know, loan or mortgage around the age of 32. And let's say I will be, I don't know, 29 or something, that I can predict that this life event can come in 3 years, because I have the experience based on the historical data of people who behave the similar way. So this is the concept behind behavioral modeling. And I want to show you some important data inputs you can use to create this behavior profile, to be an input to behavioral model. So it's what seems obvious: client data, age, region, education, the product history, account data. This is like a regular stuff. What is important to add? Transactional data, card payments, any kind of transaction. And based on that, you can do the microsegmentation, and you use spending behavior. So what I'm buying, when I'm buying, how often, for how much. The mobility data, how I am moving around, how often I travel, where to travel, if I travel every day to work or not really, or going abroad very often. What services I'm using, if I have some kind of like prescriptions like Netflix, or how much I'm paying for mobile phone, etc. Salary and income is very important feature for any prediction, especially propensity to buy, propensity to loan. And of course, the family, household, and friends, the real social background. If you can find out from the data that I have a family, or how big is my household, or if I share household with, I don't know, another rich person or poor person, or my friends are from certain environment, this is all very important information, which will help to do better prediction about my behavior. Right? So I promised you some questions. So the first one, I will come back to the question if the data bank owns about clients is more valuable than the deposits in saving accounts. So I will launch the polling. You should see it now, and I am really looking forward to the outcomes, and if it will differ from the situation a few months ago. Yeah, I can tell you that actually a few months ago, before the base interest rates were very, very low, 66% people said that the data is more valuable than the money on deposit accounts. And very interesting is right now that we have 7 answers for now, and interest rates went upper, and people still think that data are more valuable, and you actually think it even more. You are more sure about it. We have 86% for the data, so it's very interesting to see. And I will ask another question. and it's about data sources you are using in your business. So I wonder if you are using data and what kind of data, if you are working with aggregated data about account balances, products, or you are working rather with social demographic data, or if you are actually already using transactional data. Yeah, so people are voting for now. Seems like nobody is using transaction or card payment data, which is pity because this is where we find the biggest value. And most of you are using aggregated account data like account balances and clients products. Yeah, so I will let you polling for 5 more seconds and we can move on. Yeah, interesting. So actually no one is using transaction and card payment data, which is pity if you can. Of course, if it's possible for you to use them. Great. So let's come back to the main topic for today, and this is data-driven lending. And I want to see you few ways how we are thinking about the possibilities of data-driven lending, providing loans. So at the beginning, we have the data, right? We have the transactional data, and what you can do, and it's probably the easiest way still very effective, is to monitor for certain life events about your spending, about employment, if there is, for example, job change, or if there is like a pay rise, or some events in your household, new child is born, or something like that. Someone in the household comes to the troubles, and this will actually trigger opportunities to make some offer for cross-selling, upselling product, anything like that. This might be very effective way, and it is data-driven in situation when you have set up tens, maybe hundreds of these events you are automatically checking. If you will do it manually, that it will be very hard. If you will have automated process where there is a data change and you can react immediately, and trigger will be raised, and the specific client will be put into specific campaign, which is running, for example, I don't know, like every month or something like that. This is very nice way how you can use the data about your clients. Another way is to enhance pool of your clients you want to offer loan, because you have clients that you know that they have loan with your competition, they are paying some installments, but and you know it basically because they are in some registers, or you can explore the payments. You can see some installments to counterparties that you have listed, but there is actually there are more sophisticated ways how you can reveal not only loans with banking organization, but also non-banking organization based on regularity, etc. So if you are able to detect installments, then you can offer loan refinancing. And wonderful about this is that this is usually win-win situation. You help yourself, you open maybe open your credit link of the customer, and you help your customers because you probably offer him the same product for better interest rate. And so this is great. We have a nice cooperation with Raiffeisen Bank when we are able to discover actually 100% extra installments that have been detected by the standard way, just based on the whitelisting of or listing of the counterparties. So this is also a nice example how can you use the data in transactions, the transactional data reveal some new very important information that there is some existing loan you can refinance. And the most sophisticated way is what we call propensity to buy modeling, specifically propensity to loan. And this is using the behavioral model, which is running regularly. So you have the behavioral profile of each customer, and you can turn it into propensity scoring. And you can tell about each client at each point of time how much he or she will be willing to accept loan offer. And then based on it, you can sort your clients into your campaigns, which might be running on a regular basis. And then you can target loan offers specifically on clients that are that have the propensity at the moment. So this is the most effective way. What you are doing here is just turning the input data we were talking about into the outcomes in a way that you are automatically doing the scoring on a regular basis. And then you are basically use the score as the probability that client takes a consumer loan. And based on it, you select those clients, rank those clients for the sales campaign. From a technical point of view, propensity scoring, any propensity scoring model is something that is running into your existing infrastructure, cloud or on-prem, on some big data platform. And it's another model that needs to be, of course, like maintained and taken care so that we have data scientists to develop and adjust the models and DevOps engineers to maintain it. But the outcome of the model is the score. And the score here can be used as input to your existing campaign management tool, as input to your recommender tool, or your automatic call script generation or lead list generation. So we are not talking about some like a new system that you need to run in parallel with your CRM or campaign management tool. It's just rather input to it to help you better target, to help you sort out the clients. Before we will talk about the most interesting stuff, which is how to monetize the data, I will give you another question about the model usage. If you can actually consume, I wonder if you can actually consume output of any kind of data science model in your tools. It might be campaign management tools, CRM, or any tool you are using. So please let me know if you are using these outputs, or if you don't want to use it or cannot use it, or if it's just something which in the pipeline in a roadmap. Yeah, I can see that we have group of all three. Yeah, so mostly you can use the outputs or at least hard planning it. So that's good. That's great to hear. Good. Okay, so we were talking about the concept of data-driven lending. We were talking about the data you can use. And now let's take it from the business point of view, from the business perspective. So if you have the propensity to buy model, you will definitely want to use it as a campaign selection tool. What you want to do is, if you have some narrow channel, which you usually have, because the most effective way how to contact customers and turn them into accepting some offer is still call center. And you cannot basically call everyone in your bank, because even if you can, you don't want to do it because you don't want to annoy people who are not into the loan product, right? You don't want to decrease the value by decreasing the satisfaction of the customer because he's being annoyed. So let's say you want to contact 10% of your customers, or you can contact 10% of your customers during the year, and you want to contact people who are willing to accept, right? You don't want to contact people who are not. So on the pictures here, like the red dots are people who are willing to accept. So you want to put them into your group. You want to put them into the group of people you're gonna contact. So you want to select responsive clients, or you want to do this for a couple of different products. You want to have propensity to loan and propensity to mortgage and propensity to invest. And you want to do the next best offering by comparing the propensity score, so you know at each point of time what product to offer to the client, and then you will just choose the channel you will use. And where is the value of the model? So every bank has basically 3 groups of customers from the perspective of loans. People who are having saving accounts and are not really active in your bank, and those people usually are not really very responsive to any kind of campaigns. Regular borrowers are people who are taking loans regularly. They know the product, they understand it, they are having a couple of loans running, and these people are obvious that are very, very probable to take the loan again. So you know about them, and any kind of modeling doesn't really have value here. And then there you have the gray zone in between, which are, let's call them mainstream clients, and of course newcomers, where you don't know if they already they have some credit line or will have. So this is where some modeling can bring you the value. So you can use some logistic regression, or I don't know, like some kind of clustering, segmentation, to identify those people who are more propensive. You can improve your model by more sophisticated thing like behavioral scoring. So even like the most improvement will be found among the gray zone, among the people who are not clearly into loans or clearly not, right? And this is say 80% of your customers. So this is where you can find our value in the client base. And then it's important to think about like how much can some better model bring you. So if you are talking about enhancing some modeling, some propensity model, how much it will bring it to me, right? So let's do a little very small math. We have a channel capacity, which is basically the number of clients I can talk to. Let's say during the whole year, I will be a bank with 1 million customers, and my channel capacity for call center will be 100,000 clients per year I can call during the whole year, something like that. And if I will be calling those clients. I have some baseline response rate, which is basically saying if I will be calling them randomly, I will just pick them randomly. There will be some baseline response rate based on the contact channel. For example, for call center, this value might be around 0.5, 1.5% success rate, conversion rate. And then we are asking basically how much I can improve this baseline response rate if I will pick some clients. So if I have 100,000 clients to talk to from 1 million, I can choose best 10%, right? So what will happen if I use a model to choose best 10%, and I have some unit income for successfully sold loans, which might be some average figure. And here I can check the situation. I will talk to 10% of my best customers. So how I get the information these are best customers to offer? By the propensity model. So I can have one model, the blue one, let's say some basic logistic regression or segmentation, And I can have red model, which might be enhanced or improved by some behavioral modeling. And I'm asking what is the difference of the lift. So if the blue model among the 10% of clients will be 3 times or 4 times better than the baseline response rate, and the enhanced model will be, let's say, 6 times better. I have some benchmark, I have some metric I can use. And then I can actually use all these inputs to compute the value. This is very high level. This is not complete. There are many other things in the equation. But for the basic overview, how much money can I bring in just by using better model than the other? This is enough to see it. And I can actually compute that on 100,000 clients, if the probability of 1% baseline response rate will be improved 5 times instead of 3.5 times, and I will multiply it with some unit income from the average consumer loan sold, which, for example, in Czech Republic is around 400 euros. I can get some value just by improving the model, not adding a new digital channel, not adding new CRM or change the process, not really, just changing the model. I want to show you a nice little case study we did with our partners from Equabank. We've been cooperating many years with, and we were actually trying to find out how can behavior modeling be good in terms of propensity scoring. So we ran the case study for 400,000 clients, where we predicted the probability that they will take the loan in next 12 months, and basically just do some kind of like a scoring. So the higher score it is, the more right it is, like there is like a more probable that the client will take the loan. And here you can see the target, which is like, we saw it in historical data, right? We were testing this on historical data, so we could see how the score was actually working within a year. And from the first figure on top, you can see that the model is working, because the red group is actually those who took the loan. So clients on the right are clients with the better score, propensity loan score, and if you see the ratio, if you transfer it in the ratio, which is the figure below, is visible that the ratio of the acceptance of the loan for the clients with the high probability score is much higher. And you can use any kind of like a data science metrics, statistical metrics like area under curve or Gini index to compute the prediction accuracy, which is very high. But from the business point of view, it's better to use some like a different way how to explain why it makes sense to target clients with the highest score. If we split the client base of Equabank into 5 segments, just it's the ranking, like a top 20% score, the second 20% score, etc. So if you focus on those dark green line, which are clients with the top 20% of clients with the top score, they took more loans in 60 days than the rest of the clients in 1 year. So it's clearly saying it makes sense to focus on clients with the high score and not really to clients with the low score, and not involve them into the campaign because they will just waste the channel capacity, right? Or you will just annoy them with the wrong offer. So it makes sense to focus on top 10, top 20% of clients. Here are some other numbers. They have their own segmentation: active clients active with saving account, newcomers, non-active clients. And if we again look at the percentiles here, the group in the red square is just showing the clients from the clients with the top 10% score. You can see that especially with active clients or even newcomers or clients with the saving account, we are able to identify clients that will take the loan with 50 or 30+% probability. So these are where we want to focus, and the model is working very, very nicely here. And if we take it from the perspective of different kinds of clients in a bank, we were talking about inactive clients and savers and the frequent borrowers. And you see the accuracy of the model here with the AUC number, which is area under the curve, showing the accuracy of prediction over those clients in those segments. You can see that actually the biggest value here is among almost 70% of clients in this gray zone, those active clients and newcomers, and also pretty nice probability of the right prediction was shown within the inactive clients and savers. But it makes really sense to do campaign for them as well. But the biggest value you can take is from the clients that are neither like people who are taking loans regularly, which is the green area, because you can see these are frequent borrowers and they are taking they already had 8+ loans in the history, so you know that they will be actually very, very easy to predict. So the model doesn't bring value here, but it's only 1% of your clients. It makes sense to look to your customers where you are not really sure what you can say about that. Where this is where the model will bring you the highest value. So this is actually everything I wanted to share with you today. I thank you very much for attending. You can improve our next session if you will fill in some form we have prepared for you. You can also find them in your email. And now is the time to answer any questions you have. So I will check the chat, or we have the Q&A feature here. So you can ask any questions you want and I will answer. So I will be keen to answer any. Okay, so if there are no questions, I will thank you once again very much for your attention. And if you want to reach us, you can just check our website, Big Data for Banking, when you can see more about propensity modeling and other big data use for banking and finance. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.